Getting a simple glass of drinking water is easy, but that's because geoscientists and engineers perform an ocean of work. They identify surface water and groundwater sources. They manage our water and ensure it is fit to drink. They help pump, distribute, and clean the water. They even design the taps. Engineers and geoscientists do more than we imagine to make our lives better, safer, and more prosperous. Saskatchewan's engineers and geoscientists. We see more.
My name is Sean Harvey.
Craig Funk.
My name is Marnouche John Baksh.
My name is Zoe Belanger.
My name is John Desjarlais Jr.
I am a structural geologist.
I am Director of Earth Sciences.
T&D, Transmission and Distribution Senior Project Management Engineer.
My job title is Mine Geologist in Training.
Senior Reliability Engineer.
So I went into engineering at university, and during that time I took a geology course as an elective, and it was during that time that I learned about how dynamic the Earth is, how we got plate tectonics, volcanism, earthquakes, and all of this is constantly happening. It's been happening for billions of years, and that really got my mind going on how cool the Earth is. So at that point I decided I want to look more into geology.
I always wanted to be an engineer. I've always been quite creative, and thought engineering would be a good career to follow for doing that, being creative. And when I got into high school, I found out about the earth sciences. And what I found really interesting was, especially in geophysics, that you use various types of remote sensing technologies to find things inside the earth. So it's kind of like doing an investigation or something. You take a whole bunch of evidence and you look at it all, and you come up with a story about what you think is there. And so I found that very intriguing. And so I found an area I could study in engineering, which was geophysical engineering at the time. That kind of combined both of them. So that's what I pursued.
I took electrical engineering for both bachelor and master. And the reason I picked that, well, I really like engineering. When I was actually in elementary school, I thought that I will be a good teacher, and I liked teaching. Then when I went to high school, I decided probably not being a teaching, but I like to be an engineer. So I followed my dreams, and I picked electrical just because it was the highest mark in my country, so I took that one. I don't have any other good reason to say, but I really like what I'm doing.
In university, I started out in the Earth and Ocean Science program at U of Vic, and then I switched to geology and came to the U of S, or University of Saskatchewan, here in Saskatoon. I chose this career path because I wanted to do something different every day. I love the science behind geology. It encompasses all of physics, biology, chemistry, all into one fun topic. So I made it really interesting and engaging as a program to study, and there's work in it, so there was a job at the end of the tunnel as well.
I started post-secondary education as a technician, so radiation environmental monitoring technician. I care very much about the environment. It made sense, and it's a career path I started on, and I'm glad I chose. What that led to was an undergrad in mechanical engineering. I convocated in 2011 with a Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. From then, I pursued and completed a Master's in Business Administration in 2015 with the Edwards School of Business. I am currently a master's student again in Governance and Entrepreneurship in Northern Indigenous Areas with the International Center for Northern Governance and Development.
In the position I'm in, I have the opportunity of working in the office and getting into the field. So in a typical office day, I would say most of my time is working with computers and looking at a lot of geological data. So chemistry data, physical data. And what I do is take all of that data from different areas in the ground, so from 20 meters down to a kilometer, and try and figure out what it looks like in 3 dimensions. And to do that, I use a lot of 3D software to interpret how things fit together and how they look under our feet. So the second aspect, outside of the office, is when I get to go into the field. And in the field, I get to, as I'm in the field, I go into the field literally. So I'm looking for rock basically because that's where I need to find all my information.
Well, basically what I do here is I manage a group of people in the earth sciences and also technologists and technicians. And our job is to provide basically technical services to our mines. And so we are helping really to make our mines safer and more productive. And so my day-to-day responsibilities is kind of like project work, I guess, where I'm making sure that the projects that we're responsible for are being done on time and on budget.
You're getting different requests every day. You have to work on big projects. Sometimes it will take lots of energy from you, lots of time, but it's perfect actually because you never will get bored in engineering. You're working with technology. Technology is changing every day. You have to work with that. You have to change it. So actually it's pretty interesting for me because, to be honest, we all try here to give the best service to our customers. So it must be safe because we are working with electricity. So we have to consider lots of criteria before giving that service to them. So it's pretty broad, it's big.
Day in the life of Zoe is I go underground in the morning. So first I get in, hear about the lineup of what's happened over the night shift because they're continuously mining out at Allen Division. And then I go underground, inspect active mining phases, and the places that I go underground are always ones where there's geological anomalies. There's things that are changing there, and operations are concerned about the impact that's going to have on their safety as a crew. So I'll go out there and guide them through it, have conversations with engineering groups, planning groups, so that we can get through that anomaly as quick as we can.
No day is the same, and I'm fortunate that way because you know, I enjoy being all over the place, and exercise is very important to me. Also, you know, I enjoy fine cuisine, so I gotta do something to be able to enjoy that. I usually start my day with exercise. Going from there, it's usually, you know, usually meetings and work, and so bouncing around from meeting to meeting in various locations: Saskatoon, my home community, Cumberland House, the rest of the province. I do a lot of volunteer work as well too, so it's bouncing around, helping develop strategy, working on solutions, you know, working on finance, working on a business that I work with, our family business. Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of things I'm involved with, and you know, kind of all over the place, and I like it that way. So I find that's my sweet spot, to be busy, to be very busy, and enjoy being busy, and that's kind of what it looks like. A little chaos, so organized chaos.
That's a tough question. I would say for me anyway, I get to look at a lot of different areas, so I get a new area to look at. And what I get to do is try and figure out what happened millions or even billions of years ago to make that rock the way it is. So like I said, I'll look at a rock and it'll have features within it that I can trace back to say what this feature indicates that 2 billion years ago the rock was squished together at 12 kilometers depth. And then it was faulted, that type of thing. So basically it's putting a puzzle back together that's very, very old.
Well, I guess it's the variety and just all the different people I get to meet. So I get to go to mine sites a lot and go actually underground into the mining areas, which is always really neat. Also get to work with a lot of different types of people. So, you know, I don't just work with engineers or geologists. I work with accountants, I work with public relations people, with lawyers, with government people. You know, so you meet a lot of different people and you get a lot of different perspectives, which I find really interesting. And there's no day is the same really. It's always something different, and always a lot of challenges that we have to deal with. Sometimes very, very big challenges, like how do you build a new mine, or how do you do this project efficiently where you're spending hundreds of millions of dollars. You know, so interesting problems.
Well, working with people, here we have a really friendly and professional environment, and I really like working with my team, and I think it's the best environment work that you can find.
Best part of my job would be that I learn something new every day. Every day is different. I get bored pretty easily with routine tasks. So that's why geology was a really good career choice for myself, because it's always changing. Innovation, concepts of what we're studying, always changing.
The absolute best working with people, helping people solve problems, helping people move through their frustrations, finding solutions, making people happy is definitely the best part of my day, my life.
Career advice, I would say, firstly, if you can, find something that you really enjoy doing. The saying goes, if you enjoy what you're doing at work, it doesn't really seem like work. You're getting paid, so it's a win-win. So find something you really enjoy doing. If you don't know what you're going to be doing, say you're just graduating high school, and you're just wondering, what am I going to get into in the next few years? If you're thinking of architecture or engineering or geology or whatever that case may be, go talk to people that are in that field. Just ask them what they do on a day-to-day basis. Because you might find out, well, this is something I really don't want to do. That sounds terrible. Or you might find out, well, this sounds pretty cool. I think I might enjoy that. And you can look into it further.
Well, I would say, that you have to figure out what you're really passionate about and pursue that. And, what I found over my career is just because you get a degree or you study something or you go to get a diploma in something, that doesn't necessarily mean that's what you're going to do in your life. But as you do those things, it opens up doors for you. And, you meet interesting people and, you find other people that share your passions. And then you follow those. And generally I found, just for myself and people I know that have been fairly successful, is that if you're passionate about what you do, you'll do fine. You always find something that works out for you. So.
Well, to me, first they have to find what is their best interest and follow their dreams. Doesn't matter what, never scared. Follow your dreams, whatever it is. It could be engineering. To me is very interesting, but I don't know, maybe you don't like it or the other people didn't like it. But for me, it's the best career in the world because it's pretty broad, it's big, and you can move easily from side to side and still be an electrical engineer.
Career advice would be to learn to work together. I didn't really realize that in high school, how critical that is to getting ahead in your career, and that collaborating with others will always end in the best result than trying to do it independently.
My biggest career advice is essentially, you're your own greatest champion. You have to push yourself. There's going to be a lot of struggles along the way. And my greatest success and achievement is working with people, being inspired by people, and then, realizing that I was capable of more and much more. And I find myself still growing and still, increasing my confidence. And so I tell people, I tell youth, just to get out there, do what you want to do what makes you happy. Sometimes, and that evolves, and don't be afraid of that. Don't pursue, options would say this pays the most, or, this has got the highest profile. Choose something that you're really passionate about.
I guess my favorite book would probably be The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. Why is basically, when I first read it, the action gets going right at the very beginning. As soon as you open the first 20 pages, you're hooked. And I think I ended up reading the book in about a day and a half because I was so hooked on it. And it was basically a puzzle from beginning to end, and just putting pieces of that puzzle together. I just found it very interesting and exciting just to read through it all in one take, basically.
Well, that's a good question. So just to date myself, when I started out in my career, we didn't have email, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have cell phones. So even as a person, I started out actually in software, developing software. So even with software, if you couldn't figure out how to do something, you had to open up a book somewhere, and first you had to find the book and then figure out how to solve the problem. And what's changed over the years is that information now is available so easily. that are able to get answers a lot quicker. So in some ways, I would say I've seen over the years that people's ability to investigate problems maybe is not as good as it used to be, but the information is available a lot faster. So, in some ways maybe we're getting worse, in other ways we're getting much better. So.
One of my teachers, she was really, really interesting person. She helped us a lot. She was perfect in teaching maths. She still is. And yeah, I think she was my big model.
Got all these samples right here. This one's pretty cool. Blue halite. Yeah, it's beautiful, and it's not that interesting maybe, but for potash geologists, it's pretty fun when you find this one. It's definitely a treasure underground.
I can try. I think I have once. All right, for the camera. Is there a fancier way to do it? Yeah?
That's how you do it.
Right on. Look at that. Yeah. Center of gravity. Look at engineering right here, right at its finest. Center of gravities, inertia, centrifugal forces. It's amazing. Awesome.